Red button means we're live, a casual take with your boy Stephen Pepper, here to give a take off my chest. So I think we can all agree that Dylan Raiola is pretty easy to make fun of, right? I mean, the guy is literally cosplaying another man down to how he calls a huddle. Okay, that's just bizarre. But I think underneath all the theatrics is actually a really good quarterback that not enough people are appreciating. Oh, but he lost and threw a bad pick. That is true. But guys, it's Nebraska versus Michigan. He wasn't supposed to win that game in the first place. Even at home, what do you want him to do with the inferior roster? I mean, he had no time to throw, zero receivers open downfield, and his defense couldn't stop the run to save their lives. And yet, despite all that, the final score was a 3-point game. Because of Raiola, he threw over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. If an average quarterback was under center for Nebraska yesterday, they would have lost by 20 plus. Okay, that's how good Raiola is. Not saying he's special, but I think he's really good. Now, I can also agree with this. He's got to drop that Mahomes gimmick real fast. Okay, not just because it's weird, but I actually think he will play better if he does. What I mean by that is the most underrated part of Mahomes' game is his mobility. Okay, he might not look like it. He might not be as quick on his feet as an Allen or Lamar, but Mahomes can move. But Raiola, he's not nearly the athlete of his guy Mahomes. Okay, and he needs to understand that. That's why he took as many sacks as he did yesterday, because he can't evade pressure like Mahomes. He can't bust for big first downs like Mahomes. He just can't do it. So to me, I think if he spends less time imitating his idol and more time his actual godfather, Matthew Stafford, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the first quarterback taken in 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, again, I understand why it's easy to make fun of and not like Dylan Raiola. I was texting my friends during the game. They don't like him because, I mean, I can see why, okay? It's one thing wearing your favorite player's number or even rocking their hairdo. Okay, a lot of people wore 23 for Michael Jordan or LeBron. But imagine if Kobe, okay, went as far as gambling and wearing 23 and smoking cigars. Okay, that would be weird. That's what Raiola's doing. He's copying his walk. That is weird. But I actually think if he drops the gimmick, not just because it's weird, but the off-platform stuff, try to run around in the pocket and play like his actual godfather and Stafford and just be a statue and slice and dice the intermediate stuff, he would be a lot better quarterback than he is. And more people would actually like Raiola as a prospect. Now, I'm not going to go as far as Dan Orlovsky yesterday and tweet out the best quarterback in college football resides in Lincoln, Nebraska. That's not what I'm going to do. But let me just show you guys his season stats. Through 4 games, he's got 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns to 1 pick, completing 75% of his balls. Not saying this guy's a Heisman candidate, but I'm telling you, if that was Arch Manning's numbers, you guys will be glazing. Number 1 pick, tank for Arch, generational, give him his Heisman. But those are Dylan Raiola's numbers. And he's doing it at Nebraska, a program that hasn't been relevant my entire life. I can't name you as receivers. These aren't Ohio State, Oregon, Arch Manning, Texas skill guys. Heck, it's not even Bryce Underwood's weapons. How many long runs did Bryce Underwood's running backs get on 3rd down, near the red zone to run up the score and give Underwood a cushion? A ton. He had 2 running backs go for over like 80 yards and have multiple scores. And despite all that, no line, his defense couldn't, stop the run. His receivers were running out of bounds in the end zone. He's the first quarterback since Stetson Bennett, a stacked Georgia team with Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers, to throw 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns against Michigan. Mind you, C.J. Stroud played against Michigan with Olave, Smith, and Jigba. C.J. Stroud couldn't do that. That's who's playing against Michigan, guys. I mean, some good quarterbacks over the years have played against Michigan. And he's the first since Stetson Bennett, who was on a stacked Georgia team. Name me Raiola's receivers and his offensive line right now. They're not going to the first round like Stetson Bennett or C.J. Stroud's. Again, I'm not saying Dylan Raiola is a special generational quarterback. I'm not labeling that. I'm not even saying he's the next Mahomes because I don't think he can play like Mahomes. He's not the athlete of Mahomes. What I'm saying is I think Dylan Raiola is a really good quarterback that doesn't get appreciated enough because it's hard to like him. due to all the gimmicks and the theatrics and copying Mahomes down to his pregame rituals. But I think if Raiola would to drop that and, call up his godfather Stafford and get his trainers instead of Mahomes' trainers, that Raiola would be an even better quarterback and more people would appreciate his talent because I think he's really talented. But I appreciate everyone for tuning into this episode of A Casual Take. What do you guys think about Dylan Raiola as a quarterback? Follow me on Twitter at StephenPepper38. Until next time, see you.